from Aurora, Illinois, it's the DuPage Angling Network.
You are listening to the DuPage Angling Network. This is Marty Rogers from DuPageAngler.com, and tonight we have something a little special for everyone. We have DuPage Angler Possum Belly on, and he's from Iowa. And we used to go fishing all the time when we were younger, in the sticks of Indiana, along the rivers, the Wabash. I even went on the Tippecanoe. I don't think Possum Belly ever did, but he is going to be with us tonight, and he wants to talk about river fishing and how it was then and how he does it now. And here he is now. Possum Belly, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
How you doing?
All right. Just to make sure everybody knows that I live in Iowa, so I'm transplanted. I'm really a Hoosier.
That's right. You had to move there for work reasons a long time ago. But anyway, how's it been in Iowa? I know Iowa's got some really awesome places to fish, but how has the rain been affecting all of that?
Well, the rain screwed everything up for quite a bit. It's finally just starting to settle down. I haven't even been back out after the water started to recede some. So my brother Greg is fishing right now as we speak at a small lake in southern Chickasaw County. I'm not sure how well he's doing, but he was going to go trout fishing, but some of the parks with the trout streams in it, they're completely closed because of the roads got flooded out and things of that nature.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
What about the creek by your old house in Iowa where we used to go smallmouth fishing?
Yeah, it's receded back down where you could go fishing in it again, but it got flooded. The city park, I think I took you to Owine City Park. It was flooded to where it was up over the bridge. It's kind of like a ford, not really a bridge, because it's just raised concrete that's in the water. It goes over the water, and it was up over that, and trash was coming down, and it was raging like crazy.
You know, it's wild because when you go to Iowa and you go to all these other states in the Midwest, it's like everyone has the same type of park, everyone has the same type of river, but Iowa is loaded with them, aren't they?
Oh, yes. The one thing I love about Iowa is its conservation practices. It started back when everybody else was it wasn't even in their dreams yet when Iowa was started their conservation. Their county park system was the first of its kind in the country.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, you do visit DuPage County from time to time, and I remember when I took you to Blackwell for the first time. What did you think about that? Wasn't that cool?
Oh, yeah. I don't really remember places with names, and like I was telling you in DuPage County, but every place that I've been that you've taken me, I really liked. It's very, for me, living in small towns or the actual sticks my whole life, it was very hard for me to understand that you could find some place that was secluded at the same time being around such a dense populated area.
And with a place that has very clean water and you can actually see the fish swimming around. I mean, you freaked out on that part. It's
not like it was in the 70s. It's not like it was in the 70s when we were kids.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, fishing on the Wabash River. We fishing for catfish. You got to take us through a typical day of catfishing with Uncle Red. You got to tell us.
Oh, do you really? Well, most of it wasn't legal. It's not legal today. So
no, not the dynamite one. Not that one.
Oh, well, you're not talking about the. Well, I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, we used to do things like having more poles than you were allowed and 2 hooks a pole and things like that. But we used to go catfishing on the Wabash and the tributaries of the Wabash. Sugar Creek was the main one because we only lived 3 miles away from that one. We would fish at the mouth of the Sugar Creek and dipping into the Wabash River. And also up at a power plant where the water was really warm, where we catch huge flatheads. And we would string trout lines across the river and camp out overnight. And one time we caught about a 35 or 40 pound flathead on the trout line, and we had a 12-foot John boat that we was bringing the fish in. So you can imagine me and my stepdad in that little boat and we were reeling in all these catfish, and there was carp and sucker too that she had to deal with and throw back. A lot of times, if it was in the spring of the year, we used to keep suckers, and that's a different story that we could get into. But the catfish, it took up dang near a third to half of the boat, that 35-pound flathead.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I was just a teenager. And then the interesting part of that story is when it came down to cleaning that catfish. Most people would just throw it away, but not us. Not us hillbillies in the sticks of Indiana. We would just or release it, I should say, that fish and send it back into the river, because it's really not that good, a 35-pound flathead, as far as eating it. I mean, it's very wild tasting, like it's been in the mud its
It's like
whole life.
catfish bubble gum.
Yeah, that's right. But how I had to stun that fish, I swung it like a baseball bat up against a tree, and took a 16-penny nail on top of a 2x through its head, and hammered the nail into its head on a 2x4, and then got my skinners out and started skinning the thing. Otherwise, there's no way that you could hang on to the thing and try to skin something like that.
And that's exactly how I learned how to skin a catfish. And that's actually, if I had to skin a big catfish, that's exactly how I did. I did it up in Buffalo, Lake Buffalo, up in Wisconsin. We would just nail it to a tree and skin it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even this dumb thing, even to get it nailed to the tree, I had to stun it first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Sure.
swung it like a baseball bat up against the tree.
And what I'd like too is fishing in Indiana was when we used to fish in the clay pits, those clay pits in the hills.
Those are crystal clear.
They weren't really when I was there. What did you do?
Oh, you're talking about. Never mind. I'm thinking of the different. You're talking about the coal mine. Are you talking about strip pits?
Yes.
Not clay pits, but the old strip pits where the coal mine was by Bernice.
That's right.
Yeah, that wasn't very clear. That's for sure. You're right there. I'm talking about
I just remember water moccasins, ticks, a few bass, and a ton of bullhead.
Yeah, and you and your $100 cowboy boots wading through the damn water. I thought, holy crap!
$100, hell.
Okay,
what kind of boots are those? Are those nice plastic ones you used to wear when you were younger?
Well, I sure didn't wear cobra skin boots in a pond, that's for sure.
Well, the thing is, I didn't have any. I didn't know I was going to be going fishing that weekend, and that's what I had. I had more pairs anyway. What the heck?
How about the party before and
Well, that's another show. That's definitely another show. But why don't you tell us how you used to fish for cats? Because you can definitely fish for cats the same way around here as well.
Oh, sure you can. We used pyramid sinkers because we didn't want any river roll. The most of the sinkers that you go to most bait shops, even the big bait shops today, are all rounded, and but that they will have river roll, and you'll catch less fish if that occurs. And not only that, you'll mistake the river roll for a bite.
Okay, we just had someone chat in and say, okay, I understand, but what the hell is a river roll? What are you talking about?
Well, if you don't have two reasons. One, if you don't have enough weight, or if you have the wrong kind of weight, the undercurrent of a river, if it's very big especially, will pick up that sinker right off the bottom and shove it further down the river, and the line will move, and you'll think that there's something playing with it, when actually all it was the undercurrent of the river moving the bait.
I got you. All right, I'm with you now.
So a pyramid sinker, though, it'll lodge in, especially if you got a rock bottom or even a muddy bottom. It'll sink into that mud or stick and get lodged into a rock a little bit, and therefore it won't move. So when the fish picks up the hook, it's a two-line system too, where your hook line will come off the main line, and it'll be, say, about 2 foot long. you'll tie it to the top. You'll tie it from the bottom up. It'll be about 2 foot. The sinker will be at the bottom of the line, and you'll tie a secondary line that'll go about 2 foot approximately from the bottom. You'll tie it up on the above the sinker that far. So when the sinker hits the bottom of the river, well, then the worm, well, that secondary line will float above that sinker, and it won't be actually on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And
we
would
get a lot of snags that way.
Sure, you get a lot of snags that way, but that's just part of fishing, especially if you're bank fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just what we had to deal with. Don't get me wrong, it really sucked, but at the same time, if you wanted to go where the fish were and have a chance of getting a fish, I mean, when you fish from the bank with weight, you're going to have snags.
But wouldn't you actually catch a lot of bass that way as well if the worm is up off the floor?
It's amazing the number of bass that you caught. I caught a 3-pound largemouth on that little creek that you were talking about here a couple of years ago, fishing that same way.
Oh, really?
I had an ounce pyramid sinker fishing for catfish, and I caught a largemouth bass that way. And hell, I'll even catch northern that way.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's not common. Don't get me wrong, but it does happen occasionally.
Very
So
cool.
I mean, it does. It happens more. I mean, if you fish a lot, well, then it's gonna happen. If you fished every day, it would happen at least a couple times a week. You know what I mean? But you're not gonna catch bass all day long like that. Don't get me wrong. When your presentation is a catfish presentation, but it still does happen quite often.
So, what kind of baits did you, for the most part, use? Was it strictly night crawlers for the cats in the river? Because same principle will apply here in the Fox. And
we used to seine for our own bait because we were really too poor to buy worms. Well, the night crawlers we would catch, and then we would go to a smaller creek that had our own seine and everything, and we would get out and we would seine for chubs. And that was by far the best bait anyway.
Did you use cut-up chubs?
Sometimes, if they were too big, and if we wanted to catch fryers, meaning that fit in a skillet size kind of thing, and if we had a chub that was too big, even a carp or a sucker, well, we would cut up and use cut bait right on the cut it up and put a chunk of it on the line. That was always good too.
And that's one thing. You guys did not release a bunch of good eating fish, but for one thing, you were in the river, and another thing is you ate every bit of them.
Oh, yeah, we would even eat, I'll make some of your listeners maybe a little sick when I say this, but we would even eat buffalo carp.
It depends. It depends on the size.
No,
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't.
I've had them before.
Okay. let me tell you a story. One fishing trip, we caught about a 25 to a 30-pound buffalo carp. That's a decent size, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, what did we do with it?
Pictures?
Oh, we did? No. This was a buffalo carp, not a yellow carp. We cleaned it, took it home, and my mother baked it. She put it in the oven with butter, green pepper, and onion, and baked half of it at a time. We cut it in half and put half of it in the freezer and baked the other half. You want to talk about some good tasting fish, especially in the spring of the year when the water is still relatively cold, meaning 40 to maybe as high as 55 degrees. That is good fish. Now, if it's 90 degrees outside and the water temperature is 80, then I don't recommend it. But at the same time, if that water temperature is cold and it's either late in the mid-fall, late in the fall, either that or especially what we like to do is in the spring, because we used to keep suckers too that time of year when they would go spawning. And my stepdad would do a method called scoring. He would make cuts in the fish along its the side of it toward its spine, just about a quarter of an inch apart, forward cuts with a knife all up and down the fish, and you cut all them little Y bones that you have in those suckers in two, and therefore you wouldn't really notice them near as bad as when you ate them. And it's really good meat in the spring of the year.